He leaves a trail of heat across your skin, and you flush immediately. You have no idea what your face is saying because you have no control over it at that moment.
I slowly started to be seduced by him, like he started to seduce me.
Why would you do that, Oscar? Why would you do that? You scream, and it rushes towards you, its movements too inhumanly stilted to call running. Panicked and trapped, you grab the nearest object, a heavy picture frame, and slam its edge into the creature's head. Glass shatters everywhere, cutting your hand, splattering blood across your face. Adrenaline renders you unable to register anything beyond the cold, sticky feeling of your own blood. You reach back to strike again, another scream of terror ripping from your throat. Theo! Theo is on the ground, their glasses cracked, splayed across the rug. Blood flows heavily from a cut above their eye. They stare up at you, terrified, their hands raised to defend themselves. Theo! You fall back, dropping the picture frame and sliding to your hands and knees. The rug is squishy and damp with their blood. Your blood. Oh my God! Theo! Did you see that terrible black monster that I totally beamed in the head? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What are these shenanigans? You sob, and Theo sits up slowly. They hold one hand clamped over the cut on their head. It's clear they're in pain. Their other hand shakes as they reach out to you, slowly pulling you to their chest. It's okay. I'm okay. You don't look okay. You can hardly hear them. All you can register is the blood. Ah! There's blood. Blood. There's so much blood.
We should have put newspapers down.
Oh. We should have put newspapers down. We can clean it up. You didn't even realize you had said that out loud. Head wounds bleed a lot. I'm okay. It's just a gusher. I'm okay. You hide in their sweatshirt, gripping so hard pain shoots through your fingernails. They're trembling, in a daze. You yank yourself away. You need to go to the kitchen, clean this up. Theo needs ice to stop the bleeding. Your socked feet leave bloody footprints across the linoleum, and you're clumsy from your tears. When you return, Theo's standing, leaning against the door frame. They're holding the picture frame you hit them with. The picture. It got ruined. Theo, I think that's the least of our worries right now. Closer, you see it's a picture of your family, their smiling faces now marred by your blood. Blood drips into the picture, and you return your focus to Theo. Blood is leaking through their fingers, trailing down their face. That's hardly important right now. You give them ice wrapped in a towel, and they press it against their injury. The cut stretches from the whole middle of their forehead to their temple, narrowly missing their eye. You bite back a whimper. Your hands shake as you use the other towel to clean the blood from their face. As you wipe, the blood smears across their skin, staining it ruby red. They're watching you, wide-eyed, looking terrified of you. Well, yeah, I just beamed them with a picture frame, thinking they were a terrible eldritch abomination. What? You can't take it anymore, and you return to their embrace, practically clinging onto them. Apology after apology falls from your lips. What happened? Their voice is so darn gentle. You, don't make me choose. Let's see, tell them what you saw, lie to them, or can't bring yourself to speak. I saw a big creepy monster. Their face grows very serious. They seem to believe you, but their concern is painfully obvious. I mean, I know there's eldritch shenanigans going on, but I could be hallucinating from lack of sleep, because The MC has a sleep problem, and if you don't get proper sleep, you might start seeing things. You're overrun with guilt. What did you do to deserve him? You hurt them, yet they're still worried about you. You pull away, and their eyes sweep over your face. With their thumb, they wipe a droplet of their own blood off your face. You are too sweet for this world, Theo. Did you get hurt? That's when you notice a stinging on your hands and knees. You examine your hands, feeling very distant from your own pain. Sure enough, there are light cuts scattered across your palms. You simply stare at them, as if you can't register that you're injured. Come on, let's get you cleaned up. Their voice was gentle, and they'd take your wrist, careful not to touch your injury. Don't step on the glass. Careful, Espoir. As if you're a child, Theo guides you slowly through the minefield of glass. In the bathroom, you finally take notice of your own reflection. Your face is splattered with blood, yours and Theo's. The crimson red looks unnatural under the fluorescent light. Here. Theo offers you a washcloth, one that was once white but is now stained pink from... Beep! An unfortunate washing machine error that dyed most of your whites pink. You take turns cleaning each other up. As you examine Theo's cut, you notice the bleeding has, for the most part, stopped. You sigh in relief. At least the ice helped. He's not questioning why I bashed him over the head with a picture frame? Anyone else would have several questions, but not Theo. Not good old Theo. He knows. He knows that sometimes you hallucinate from lack of sleep. So much blood had come from one cut. I think it looked worse than it was. It's not too deep. Just a gusher, remember? Theo smiles weakly at you, but you can't return it. They clean you with all the care in the world as they attentively tend to you. First the blood on your face, then your hands. You didn't get any glass stuck anywhere, did you? Their voice is so quiet, you're not sure if they're talking to you or to themselves. They bring your leg up, meticulously examining your knees for glass shards. You're cut up, but it doesn't look like there's any glass, at least. You hear them, but it's like you're in a haze. All you can do is watch as they peel your blood-soaked socks off, then your splattered shorts. Maybe under different circumstances you would feel embarrassed, but right now... Let's wash off now. Theo leads you to the edge of the tub and gently sits you down. They run the water. There's a high-pitched scream from the pipes as the hot water starts to flow through them. Steam floats up from the tub. Theo's hand rums up and down your leg as they clean the rest of your body. The bath water is slowly dyed in red. You choke down the rising bile in your throat. How can there still be so much blood? Eventually, you both somehow get clean. Your wrecked shorts and socks now replaced with a fresh pair of sweats and socks. That is so sweet. You bash him with a picture frame, and then he cleans the glass off of you, and washes you up, and doesn't make it weird when he takes your clothes off. Why have you married this person? You both sit on the couch, unsure how to break the silence. Oh, maybe start with, hey, I'm sorry I beamed you. Theo takes your hands in theirs and rubs circles across your knuckles. Their hand is warm against yours. The feeling grounds you, and your gaze falls to their hands. Light scars are painted across them, reminders of all the baking and cooking hazards they've experienced. Sky blue nail polish colors their nails, now chipped away and stained with the slightest hint of red. Guilt pulls at your chest at the horrific reminder of what happened tonight. Espoir, are you okay? If something's going on, you can tell me. I'm worried. You don't seem like yourself. You're attacking you with picture frames? It was an attempt at a joke, but your voice sounded so tired. Regardless, Theo smiles good-naturedly. It's not their usual bright, warm grin, but it's an attempt. Well, I wasn't going to be so blunt, but yeah. I know we used to play fight when we were little, but it's been a while. Plus, I've never had to take you unarmed before. Oh, and he's trying to make a joke about it. Their own attempt at a weak joke. You give them the same half-hearted smile they gave you. You sigh and rub your temples, trying to clear your head. I'm not really sure what happened or what's happening. Something just feels wrong. Theo's brows are furrowed with sadness, worry, and something else. For some reason, you hate it. You want to tell them not to look at you like that, but guilt keeps you from saying so. Still, the expression bothers you, makes you restless. You want to get up, away from their pity and worry, away from this hole in the wall, away from the blood that now stains your entire foyer. I'm going to go pick up the glass. We've just had a long night. Just leave it for now. I don't want to. Besides, what if the cat cuts itself? Enough innocents have bled for me today. What cat? What do you mean, what cat? What? What kind of question? Does he not know my sister has a cat? What? What kind of question is that? Aren't they supposed to be your childhood friend? Did something erase his memory of the cat? Was it the cat? Did the cat erase his memory of the cat? The cat. Camilla's cat. I'm watching him while she's gone. The cat erased his memory. The cat erased his memory! You've never seen them look so solemn. Espoir. Camilla doesn't have a cat.
What? What the f-
What? No, wait, hold on a second. Aster said there was a cat. There's a whole... Wait. Did something make a cat so that I would have to make a hole in the wall so whatever's in the wall could get me? What do you mean Camilla doesn't have a cat? What? Her cat was hit by a car years ago. Remember? It's been gone for years. No, that's impossible. The cat was in the wall. That's why there's a gaping hole in my room. I had to get him out. I saw him. Other people saw him. I haven't seen him. There is no cat, Espoir. There is no cat? There is no cat? There is no cat? Then why was cat? Where did I get food? We put out food for the cat. Was I just buying food for no cat? Did something make me think we had a cat? Was it Aster? Did Aster hallucinate a cat because he's the first person who mentioned a cat? Was a cat mentioned before Aster showed up? I don't think it was. I don't think anything mentioned a cat before Aster showed up. Aster! What are you doing, Aster? The gentleness that always followed their voice is gone now. Your blood drains from your face. My blood drained from my face! That couldn't be right. Bartholomeo was... What? A low, heartless voice chuckles in the distance. You whirl around towards the source, heart pounding against your ribcage. But Bartholomeo? There's a ringing in your ears. You wait, and you feel like you'll suffocate in your panic. But that darn cat doesn't come. It never comes. Your stomach twists in knots. So I just let a hot stranger in my house for a cat that doesn't exist? Didn't the sister call? Didn't she... Espoir, why don't we go outside tomorrow? You've been holed up in here for days, writing that scary horror book. Ah! What is that sound supposed to be? The chuckle rises from the shadows again. The hair on the back of your neck stands up. Why isn't Theo creeped out by that? Look, I hear somebody with a hot, deep voice laughing at me, and I don't appreciate it. Plus, this house. This time, you both startle as the plastic on the wall rattles. You turn to see the plastic sheet warping, ballooning out from the hole in the wall. The smell of rot fills the room. Why? It's overpowering, and you both gag. This house. Theo grabs your hand before you can say anything. They're dragging you up the stairs and towards the front door. They lunge for it. Ah! Ah! Do you really think this is the best choice? Trusting them? Ah! The detached voice is so close, practically whispering to you from your shoulder. It laughs, and the sound is like metal rending. You don't know what to do. Get out of the house if we can? On the other side of the door, shadows press their spindly hands against the glass. You yank Theo back. Well, I guess we're not going out that way. Don't open it! We need to get out of here! That's when you realize they can't see the shadows. You refuse to budge, tell them what you see, brace yourself, but allow them to drag you. I would brace myself and allow them to drag me. Let's go. Let's get out of here. I trust you with my life, Theo. Sensing your hesitation, they grab your hand, interlocking your fingers. Close your eyes. You do, and you feel them tug you forward. Just as you cross the threshold, you hear that chuckle again. Then a deep sigh, one heavy with disappointment. What? You wanted me to stay here in the creepy house where somebody spilled raspberry jam everywhere? I'm not cleaning that up. Something like regret twitches in your chest, there and gone between heartbeats. You and Theo stand on the porch. Bright, searing hot sunlight pierces your vision. Wasn't it night? Yeah, wasn't it nighttime? Oh, thank goodness. The sun is high in the sky, and the summer sky is clear. As you and Theo cross the porch together, you pause at the bottom steps. The morning light chases away the darkness that had been clouding your mind. We made it. Oh, he's still injured. You can't believe it and smile for what feels like the first time in forever. As if to make sure this wasn't a dream, you look towards Theo. The gash on their face is bleeding again. Your expression falters, and they're pulling you towards them once more, into the safety of their embrace. Are you all right? Did it work? Do we need to get further? We can... You wrap your arms around their neck and pull them closer, your eyes locked onto theirs. Equal parts of gratitude and guilt swirl inside you, each overwhelming in their own right. As you hold one another, you watch surprise, anxiety, then hope flash in Theo's eyes. They brush their thumb over your cheekbone, trembling as they do. No, you were right. I'm glad I trusted you. What do you mean there was no cat? We need to explain that further. You lean towards them. This close, you can feel their lips part against yours, the rise of their chest as their breath hitches. Your lips meet in a kiss filled with relief, a heartbreaking kind of joy, and the lingering taste of adrenaline. Their hand rubs soothing strokes up and down your spine. They move their lips so softly, so gently against yours, and their breaths come in short gasps. You dig your fingers into their shoulders, run them over the back of their neck, press your hand against their chest. They're truly there, truly safe, truly kissing you. They break the kiss first, resting their forehead against yours. Their broken glasses sit slightly askew on their nose. You stare into their eyes, beautifully and boundlessly blue. You smile broadly, trying to push the thoughts of the voice in the house out of your mind. Theo, thank you. I feel much better. Turns out I just needed to literally touch grass. Their arms tighten around you. They're smiling more brightly than you've ever seen them, brighter than the sunshine warming your skin. It's real. Why is the word "it's real" twitchy, as if it's not real? Don't do this to me, house, or whatever. Yes, it's definitely real. Oh, there's a picture of Theo up there now. Cute. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. I've holed up in my room for several days, possibly without eating. Everything I seem to eat tastes sour. I can't really make it out, but the background of this kind of has a story behind it. Like, literally a story behind it. I can't make it out, though. But, so the cat's not real. That's nice. Why is the cat not real? What is the house doing? Why is the house laughing at me? Okay, what if I go all the way back and, ask Oscar to come if I need help? Spend some more time with Oscar? Let him leave. You'll ask Oscar to come if you need help. Are you pulling some shenanigans, Astor? Why is there no cat? He's right in town after all. Astor nods, smiling. All right. Wait. If it's not too much to ask, can you get the cat for me? He definitely needs a bath, but... What's with that look for, homie? Do you know that I now know that there is no cat? You do, don't you? Stop playing with me, man. That's not cool. You trail off, and Astor barks out a laugh that sounds like snapping twigs. That sure is a laugh. Certainly. Wait here. You do as he says. You can hear his footsteps upstairs, as well as the resonance of his voice, although you can't make out quite what he says to convince the cat to come back out. Soon he returns, Bartholomeo cradled against his shoulder. Here you are. Thank you so much. You accept the cat, although you can immediately feel him tense. He sinks his claws into your shoulder, stopping just short of breaking the skin. Now that our little crisis has been diverted, I'll take my leave. No, stay. We have some talking to do. His smile is sharp-edged, but not unkind. How on earth will you manage without me? You chuckle, your voice more nervous than you'd like. I don't know, honestly, but I guess we'll find out. Indeed. I'll lock the door on my way out. Good luck with him. You nod and smile. Yeah, thanks. Astor's gaze returns to you. Something in his expression makes you think you misunderstood him, but he heads back up the stairs before you can finish your thought. Take care not to drown. What do you mean? Why would you say that? What does that mean? You sigh, looking down at the increasingly ornery cat. It's just you and me now, Barty. Take it easy on me, would ya? Barty does not, in fact, take it easy on you. The muck was far less than you'd anticipated. It looked far worse at a distance, and was cleaned well enough with a wet washcloth. Bartholomeo, however, did not appreciate this at all. Cleaning him up felt like a full-on wrestling match, during which he managed to land a bite on your cheek. Ow! You decide he's clean enough. You're absolutely exhausted. Leaving the wreckage of your bathroom to be the problem of a future, more energized version of yourself, you change out of your drenched clothes. How you ended up so damp without ever giving him a proper bath is a mystery. You're about to throw yourself onto the bed when you see the absolute mess of your wall. The groan that escapes you is guttural and entirely involuntary. You do not have the energy for this right now. So, are we just gonna leave it open? You're standing before the mess, your body unable to comply with any commands to move or clean, when your phone buzzes loudly. It's a text. Oscar, call me. Columbus Project and Jackapple. You snort in amusement before typing back. Can't right now. Dealing with emergency. Wall broken. Wall broken? Yep, wall broken. His response is near immediate. WTF? The typing symbol appears for a bit, then disappears. You wait a minute, but when no response comes, you toss your phone on the bed and turn your attention back to the task at hand. You grab a broom and a dustpan and get to work. Oh yeah, 'cause the drywall will be all over the floor and stuff. Not even 15 minutes later, you're covered in a thin layer of plaster dust. Most of the debris is clear, though some of it's clinging to the damp parts of your skin, and you can feel it caking your eyelashes and forming a paste on your neck. Ooh. You're about to start figuring out what the heck you're supposed to do about a gaping hole in your wall when two loud knocks against the front door interrupt your thoughts. Why? Why you knocking like you the police? You frown, looking down at yourself, and then in the direction of the stairs. You can't even begin to guess who would be showing up right now. The knock comes again. This time, louder. Oscar? Oscar, what do you want? Assuming that it's you. You head upstairs, dusting your hands off on your jeans in an entirely futile gesture. You glance through the stained glass window, and then do a double take. What the? You open the door. Oscar stands before you, a foul expression on his face, holding a large red metal box. You stare at him, bewildered. Is that a toolbox? Did you come down here to fix my wall? Do you seriously need to answer that? You don't, but you also have no idea what's happening right now. So, I'm here to fix the gosh darn wall. You gonna let me in? At an utter loss for words, you step aside to let him by. Aww. You head downstairs with Oscar close behind, your mind feeling like you're walking into your own personal episode of The Twilight Zone. Or an enemies to lovers book. Once in the apartment, it takes Oscar no time at all to identify the issue. What the fluff happened to your wall? It looks like a creature ripped into it. Jesus. Maybe it did. You try to laugh dryly, but your voice sounds a little hysterical, even to you. Yeah, well, my life is falling apart. It's just one disaster after the next. The wall, well, you can see the wall. It's actually looking better now, believe it or not. There was plaster and crap everywhere. And I haven't been sleeping well at all, like crazy nightmares and insomnia. And then when I do sleep, it's like, why bother? I don't feel better when I wake up anyway. And honestly, I thought not having a next project would feel great, but the pressure is so much worse now than it ever was on a job. And then I had this whole emergency with the cat, and I had to bathe him, and it's all just very bad. Are you going to tell me that I have no cat as well? I'm not sure I'm seeing how that last one is a disaster, but anyways. Oscar walks over to the wall, tilting his head one way and then the other before putting his toolbox down. You stand beside him, not sure what else to do with yourself, just relieved that you don't actually have to deal with this wall situation anymore. I can't fix this. What do you mean, Oscar? Your response is reflexive. Seriously? Embarrassing for you. It's fluffing annihilated. It's not like I have spare sheetrock in my rental car. Then why'd you bring that toolkit over for? Or is it like a comfort thing? Or like a toolbox. And there's a difference between broken and a 3-foot wide hole. You're a writer. How are you so crap at words? How are you so crap at fixing stuff? I'm not a gosh darn contractor. I'm an editor. I do not do manual labor. Then why'd you bring a toolbox? You narrow your eyes at him before gesturing to his obnoxiously perfect... What? What? You narrow your eyes at him before gesturing at his obnoxiously enormous... It keeps changing the words. You narrow your eyes at him before gesturing at his obnoxiously ridiculous biceps. Can I have that evil, gaslighting house voice? Can I talk about his delicious, perfect biceps, please, without you getting jealous? Ugh. What if this is actually a story about a yandere house? Even more so than House Hunted. Like a house that's really into you. They're decorative. You snort at him, but a smile curves your lips. Bickering with Oscar is oddly soothing, normal. Go away. I don't need you hawking over me with your unhelpful bullcrap narrations. You sulk, wrinkling your nose at him. But Oscar turns to look at you up and down, then traces his index finger across your collarbone. He leaves a trail of heat across your skin, and you flush immediately. You have no idea what your face is saying, because you have no control over it at that moment. Why would you do that, Oscar? Why would you do that?
I slowly started to be seducted by him, like he started to seduce me.
He holds up his finger to you, arching an eyebrow. You're literally filthy. Go clean up. I'll be done by the time you're out. Oh, he was gesturing to the sawdust and the dirt that's all over my body, not stroking my collarbone seductively. Your brain is too busy short-circuiting at his touch to retort, so you retreat into the bathroom. You manage to wipe off most of the dust and change into some clean sweats and a t-shirt. Once you're done, you go back out to rejoin Oscar. Your eyes immediately go to where the hole was. It's been covered, but it appears Oscar took the top shelf off of your bed and stapled it over the hole, then shoved your bed back up against it. I guess. You look for Oscar to tease him because, well, it's quite obvious why, something you're quite eager to point out, but he's no longer in the studio. You head out into the hall and find Oscar by the stairs leading up to the foyer, looking at the hanging pictures on the wall. What the heck did you do to my sheet? I fixed the wall. I would hardly call that fixed. It's stapled. It's stapled very well, I assure you. You scoff loudly and roll your eyes. Oscar motions towards the wall of photos. Dozens of school photos of you and your sister over the years are scattered amongst some birthdays, holidays, the occasional parent's anniversary. Your family is nauseatingly picturesque. Perhaps too picturesque. What if these pictures are all lies? I can't trust anything now. You frown at him, but he continues. Tell me, how are you meant to write anything interesting when your life has been all fluff and cavity-inducing sweetness? You glare at him and are about to snap a retort, but he moves on as if what he said wasn't offensive. You and your sister look a lot alike. You twins? You pause, still angry, but answer him. You can't help yourself when it comes to Camilla. No, I'm older. We get that a lot, though. You stare at a picture of Camilla covered in colored powders and grinning after competing in one of those color runs. I think I know what a color run is, but I don't know what a color run is. Editor Espoir, can you enlighten me as to what a color run is? I'm pretending to see what you've put on screen. We're only 10 months apart, but it feels more like years most of the time. People love her. I may be the artist, but she's the rebellious, free-spirited one, not me. Well, yeah, that's obvious. You're wildly uptight. I am not uptight. Wildly cutthroat, then. Why did everything get spooky? You freeze, looking at him. He arches an eyebrow. I don't like that everything's all spooky. Honestly, part of me thinks Jack gave me your check on purpose. He's a jerk, but he's also a coward. Never could stand anyone being mad at him. You're unsure of what to say. You can hear your own heartbeat in your ears, and your face gets hot. What? How? I thought it was greed at first, but I don't think that's quite it. Hello, Scribbles. A hand waves back and forth in front of your eyes, and you're brought back. Oh, don't worry about me, just hearing the voices of eldritch horrors. Man, spacing out mid-conversation now? That's a lot, even for you. You scoff and wave it off, not trusting your voice to be steady just yet. Oscar narrows his eyes at you before turning and walking back into the studio. You follow him, immediately confused. He heads to the linen closet, pulls down a blanket, and then tosses himself down on the couch. What are you doing? Do you have any idea what time it is? I'm tired. I'm not driving back to the motel after you dragged me out here at fluff-all in the morning. Is it fluff-all in the morning? He rolls over so his back is to you. Bartholomeo makes his first voluntary studio appearance and hops up on top of Oscar, spinning around on his hip until he curls up to sleep. Or so... Hey, Oscar, this cat, you see this cat too, right? This cat is real. Right? Right? Still freaked out that the cat is not real. How is the cat not real? He's just staying? Let's see. It's unsettling how at home he acts here. It's creepy. It's a little creepy. You mentioned there's a guest room upstairs he can stay in if he prefers. Or, it's kind of a relief to have him here. Being alone in such a big house is eerie. Let's see. Possessed house or enemies to lovers friend with really incredible chest? It's kind of a relief to have him here. Being alone in such a big house is eerie. Even if you're pretty sure he'd use you as a human shield in a heartbeat, fighting him is distracting you from whatever this feeling is. The lights went out and I got scared. You're too tired to fight. You turn off the light and go to lay down, hoping sleep will take you quickly. It takes Oscar quickly, but seems to leave you behind. He snores. Loudly. Oh, jeez. You roll over and find yourself face to sheet with Oscar's repair job. To his credit, it really is well stapled. He probably also used every staple you had to do it. As you lay there, you start to notice sounds between the snores. They're softer, breathier, and they're coming from behind the sheet. Ah! You stare at it intensely, trying to convince yourself you're not hearing what you think you're hearing. They grow in sound and intensity, crescendoing to a deep wailing. You look over at Oscar and Barty, but they're both sound asleep. The sheet starts to move slightly, as if it's fluttering, a sail in the wind. Suddenly, the music got really crunchy. Suddenly, the shape of a face lunges through the sheet, barely restrained by the stapled cloth. The mouth is open and gaping at you, the undeniable source of the wails. The sheet presses tightly into the open jaw, as if it was inhaling, sucking the cloth into its mouth as it presses. You can't even scream. The strangled sound you make is nothing close to what would be needed to wake anyone, and you can't move. Now actually, this sounds more like sleep paralysis. Like I said before, I know something silly is going on here, but maybe the MC actually is suffering from some kind of, sleep disorder. But there's a face coming through the wall and I can't move. As quickly as it happened, it's over. The face doesn't withdraw, it simply disappears, the sheet appearing untouched and unmussed, as if nothing was there in the first place. Maybe it was never there. You let out a shuddering breath. You want to run, but you can't take your eyes off the sheet. Gulp. You don't dare. You scoot back off the bed to your chair, alert for any signs of movement behind the white cloth. You don't sleep. You look like crap. Did you sleep in that chair? You don't know when he woke or when the sun rose. You haven't even been able to pull your gaze from the hole. You look like a gosh darn gargoyle right now. You don't respond. You can't. Distantly, you wonder if the gasping, wailing creature stole your voice for its cries. You're vaguely aware that he leaves the room, the creaking of the stairs signaling his departure. You can witness the thought pass by you as if it belonged to someone else, a theoretical version of yourself, calling him rude for leaving you without a word. But right now, Oscar places a mug of coffee in your hands. His touch is surprisingly gentle, his large hands dwarfing yours as he wraps your fingers around the mug. Drink. You're tempted, so tempted, to look away. It's easier to believe you'd be safe when he speaks to you like that. You know, he's kind of got a bit of daddy going for him, too. I think I like that. Espoir? What's going on? That tone again. You drag your eyes from the hole. It hurts. Respond? Okay. Ask him if he believes in the supernatural, otherworldly, hauntings, unexplainable things. Tell him you can't explain it. Or things started getting weird after he got here, you can't trust him. That's what you want me to say, isn't it, House? Or Aster, or Cat, or whoever's doing this. I think, hey, do you believe in supernatural, otherworldly, like faces in the walls? He watches you, eyes narrowed. You can see him weighing whether to take you seriously or not. Just when you're sure the scales have swayed out of your favor, he answers. I found little reason in my life to convince me one way or the other for certain. Why? You hesitate, then press your lips together tightly. No, it's too bizarre. You can't. Listen, Espoir, I've been traveling for a long time, and I've been to a lot of places, so I've heard a lot of stories and seen some things. I don't think anything is ever truly off the table. No, I've been honest with you. Be honest with me. Why are you asking me these things? It's a long story. It started when... You fill Oscar in on all your odd experiences since arriving at the house. I think there may be something wrong with the house. You expect a long pause. You're prepared for it. You're not prepared for his next question. Okay, so what's your plan then? You blink at him, thoroughly thrown. You believe me? Well, I don't not believe you. Oscar, are you actually cool? But we may as well try and figure out if something's going on. We have all these books at your disposal. Let's use them. Oscar divvies up the piles of books between the two of you. Your pile is mostly comprised of your old journals, notes, and other assorted sources from the past few weeks. His are mostly the books you've been using for research, including your current unfinished read. You start reading, struggling to be absorbed in the material, and instead sneak some glances at Oscar. Bartholomeo is curled up in his lap and is sleepily purring away while Oscar reads. It's a strange sight at first, but the more you look at it, the more it makes sense to you. Does it? Does it make sense? It doesn't take you long to realize that Oscar reads very quickly. Before you've finished looking through your journal, he's already finished one of the small plays and is partially through your current read. Scribbles. This is the most boring, fluffing book I've ever read. The 400-page explanation on local land tax laws I read yesterday is more exciting than this. Why are you reading this? He flips through the pages, seeming to skim the contents as he goes, and looking deeply unimpressed. I can't really justify it. That's been my experience so far, too. I just try not to abandon books part way, but it's very boring. Oscar tosses the book unceremoniously onto the community pile of books between you. A piece of paper falls out from between the pages of the book, folded into a small square. You both stare at the paper for a moment, shocked. Oscar recovers first and picks up the paper, unfolding the many creases with impatient hands. It's your handwriting, and the pages look like they belong to your journal, but you have no memory associated with these entries at all. The page details strange noises coming from behind the wall of your room and struggling to sleep. Perhaps most confusing, however, is the date on the page. This entry is from 2 weeks ago. I dislike this room. I feel bad because Dad was so excited to show it to me, but something about it makes me feel like I'm in an aquarium or something, on display. Hey, Oscar, did you see that page change right before our eyes? Now it says, I dislike the room. I feel bad because Dad was so excited to show me, but I can't bring myself to like it. It's not my room. It's a guest room. You turn to another page and find an entry from more than a week ago. It's a bit more recent, but still disorienting, to say the least. I know this sounds crazy. I do, but I think there's someone trapped in the walls. Or something. You gonna change that too? Ah! It seems too wild to possibly be true, but why else would I be hearing the sounds of scratching when I lay down at night, coming from inside the wall? As if I needed another reason to dislike this house, there's definitely mice in the walls. I can hear them scurrying around. Oscar leans over the coffee table and grabs one of the small piles of paper he's assembled of varying sizes and widths and passes it to me. Yeah, sure. Mice, yeah. Do you think that has anything to do with this? You stare at the pile, but not a single spark of recognition lights. Where did you get these? Entirely unfazed by your question, he shrugs. Your bed. They were all a messy pile under a pillow. Some under the bed. Have you seen them before? You stare at them, frowning, the unnerving feeling of not being able to place the papers more bothersome than you would have anticipated. Did you read them? I didn't go through them, but I couldn't help reading this one. It was just right on top, so... He trails off, gesturing the pages towards you, an offering. You accept them and begin to leaf through them, trying to remember anything about them. There's writing on the top page, but it's not yours, it's Camilla's. The message is very simple. Don't trust Espoir? What did I do? I'm just slowly going insane. The rest of the page is covered with handwriting that is yours, but that you can't place in time or space. You can't even read the writing. It's scrawling nonsense. Words on top of words on top of words. The only words legible on the page are on the very bottom of the page. One sentence is printed clearly and concisely in your handwriting. They know I know. Yeah, they know that I know that they know that I know that the cat isn't real. You're watching, paying attention when it happens. You're looking at the page when it goes entirely blank. The only thing remaining on the page is a small doodle of your front door and the stained glass windows beside it. You... What? Letters disappearing off the page right before my eyes? Your gaze immediately goes to Oscar to point it out, but his expression is unchanged, his eyes roaming the blank sheet as if there's still something on it for him. Is he seeing something different? Don't... There's no text box underneath it, and I don't know why that scares me. Ask him if he saw the pages change. Ask him what the page says. Say nothing. He's obviously faking it. Maybe he's not actually him either. What's going on with you, third card? You've been saying nothing but nonsense most of this time. Who hurt you, card number 3? Ask him what the page says. It's nothing particularly important. Looks like some notes on the script. An unnecessarily detailed description of that passenger who ate egg salad and took off his shoes and socks on the flight. What? You gape, horrified. You don't remember that, and you're sure you should. You've always been a stickler for plane decorum. A paragraph on the Uber driver who dropped you off and didn't help you take your stuff out of the car. Huh, what a phallic object. Oh, and here's a grocery list restocking all the stuff you needed for the house. You brush your teeth with cinnamon toothpaste? Are you a serial killer? Wait, there's cinnamon toothpaste? You want to quit back, but you can't bring yourself to. Something is very wrong. Yeah, wrong that I'm just now learning about cinnamon toothpaste? Are you seeing something different? His tone strongly implies he already knows the answer. Yet... I'm not sure. I like how Theo was like, okay, this is weird, let's go. And Oscar's like, you know what? I totally believe you. Something weird's going on here. I like that you don't have to dance around the supernatural things. Like, no one's like, oh, you're just crazy. Oh, you're just sleep deprived. Like, no, something's weird and we need to do something about it. I wonder what Astor's gonna say when I finally get the chance to be around him. In fact, you're not really sure of what he asked you anymore, but you can't bring yourself to ask. Then you see the grocery list. Oh, it's my grocery list, with my errands for when I came to the house. Probably not important. You can toss it. Oscar watches you for a long moment, his face very serious before nodding. Sure, I'll toss it. He places the note on the table for the time being, however. The minutes pass too slowly, and the hours pass too quickly. You know it's been at least 3 hours, but beyond that is anyone's guess. You're still not comfortable trying to sleep. Something deep inside you is whispering, very convincingly, that if you fall asleep, the thing behind the wall will find you. We need a break. His interruption is so sudden that you don't know how to respond at first, simply blinking up at him. You narrow your eyes at him, disliking the idea. I know that look, that half-crazed, half-asleep expression. You look just like you do when you fall into a writing hole. Does everyone know about my writing hole? That sounds dirty. I don't want to lose momentum. No, Scribbles. You and I both know that the writing hole is not where you do your best work. You need a break. You're going crazy locked up in this house. So, did that sound effect, that vocal sound effect, did that play when Aster first arrived? I can't remember. That would be back in the first video. But that's a very specific sound that plays whenever some shenanigans are talking. There's a low chuckle.
Quite.
What, that I'm going crazy? Do you want me to go crazy? Disembodied voice? Because this is how I go crazy. Oscar, I'm serious. I don't want to stop right now. Well, I'm more serious. And what's more, I'm hungry. So you must be too. I don't even know when you last ate. Over your dead body, will you admit that you don't know either? Smart money's on you not eating anything all day. Let's go get something to eat outside. Fresh air would be good for you. A nice change from being trapped in this creepy basement all day and night. He's absolutely relentless, so you cave. You decide to go out to pick up some food. There's a decent Thai place in the next town over. You let him take the lead. The hall feels strangely long as you head upstairs. When you get upstairs, you find yourself hesitating. Oscar doesn't notice and heads straight through the door, swinging it open. When you don't follow, he turns back to look at you. Espoir, you good? I am most certainly not good. You can't answer. You're looking past him to where the door has transformed into a giant gaping portal, a throat looking to swallow you both whole. Black, dark ichor drips from the doorframe like saliva pools onto the floor. So it is the house! Distantly, you hear screaming, loud and raspy and straining. It's only when you take a deep breath that you realize the screaming is coming from you. Oscar is across the room and to you in moments. He grabs you by the shoulders, and you dimly register the terror on his face. You've never seen him look so afraid. His grip on your shoulders is firm, and he tries to say something, but you can't hear him over your own voice, the tearing screams in your ears. He starts to pull you towards the door, and you begin to thrash with all of your strength trying to get away. You'll die. You'll die. What's worse than death? Many, many things are worse than death, and all of them await you within this darkness. Why? Why are you doing this to me, house? Pourquoi? You begin to rip at your own flesh, grabbing your head, scratching at your own eyes, clawing at your throat. Oscar grabs at your arms to try and stop you, and instead your fingers find purchase in his forearms. Your nails sink into the flesh of his arms and rip. The sensation is somehow satisfying, as is the welling of blood from his skin. But still, he doesn't release you. Oscar's a real trooper for that. Oscar pushes you back further into the house, pressing you to his chest tightly, squeezing your whole body into a warm, consistent pressure. The screaming in your mind is the first to stop, allowing you to finally, truly hear yourself and control your own voice. Your throat feels shredded, and your screams finally cease. Your mouth is painfully dry, and each breath feels more like hot smoke than oxygen. Finally, you come to your senses and truly calm down. Oscar releases you slowly, trading holding your arms and cupping your face gingerly in both hands. His face is still pulled taut into a mask of absolute terror. That sounded even more distressed. Espoir? He's calling you, but your focus is locked on the deep, bloody gouges you raked into his arms. Through his shirt. How the heck did you do that? You realize Oscar is talking, not just saying your name. It takes a concerted effort to focus on his words. Your mind feels foggied with dark mist, separating you from the surrounding world. What the fluff happened? What was that? Are you okay? Is the third card unhinged again? Let's see. Tell him about what you saw. Apologize for scratching him. Stare at him. You can't make yourself say it. Tell him about what you saw. We're being honest here. I saw some kooky stuff. His face contorts as you explain with stilted words what you saw. I didn't see it, Scribbles. I couldn't see it. Was it real? God, you hate how small and ruined your voice sounds. His gaze darkens. I don't know, Espoir, but I think you're right. It's the house, and you need to get out of here somehow. I don't think the house wants to let you go. I think we have to convince it somehow.
But what about Bartholomeo? Camilla will never forgive me if I just...
Jesus Christ! We'll bring the fluffing cat. That's really what you're thinking about right now? We'll bring the fluffing cat.
How are we supposed to get out of here?
He doesn't answer you, and he doesn't release you. He slides his hands from your cheeks to the side of your neck, his thumbs grazing over your bottom lip as he does, sending a shock of electricity straight to your stomach.
Oh.
His hands rest on the sides of your neck, his thumb resting over your pulse point for just a few moments. Then his hands are moving again, brushing over your shoulders and back down your arms, where you can feel the ghost of the grip he'd used to try to prevent you from hurting yourself. His hands travel down to your hands, and he holds both tightly, one in each hand. Look at me. You do, your vision locking on the deep browns of his eyes. His gaze burns. Then, as if they burned him, he drops your hands from his. Let's go. He leads you back downstairs. He's moving quickly, taking the stairs 2 at a time, and you have to hurry to keep up with him. Oscar goes straight to your books again, picking up the play you've been reading, and skips ahead to Act 2, where your bookmark is holding your place. Wait, weren't you on Act 1? Oscar opens the book past your bookmark, delving deep into Act 2. You get a sinking feeling, a strong sense of dread and foreboding that threatens to physically bring you to your knees. Ah, here it is. Okay, I know what to do. His voice is suddenly drowned out. You whirl around to the wall, where the sheet is secured over the hole. The ichor has returned. It's seeping through the spaces between staples, oozing through the sheet. It's as if it's following you, as if you'd lost it, and now it has found you. You hear Oscar rummaging around behind you, and the sound of scissors cutting. What is he doing? You turn to him, desperate to make him understand. You need to run. Something is coming, something dangerous. You can feel it. You have flashes of some kind of dream, nightmare, vision, of the arcing swing of an arm, and a spray of blood, the overwhelming smell of rotting flesh. You make to run up the stairs, but Oscar catches you by the arm before you've gone more than a few steps. Wait! I just need to grab something. Wait! I just need something from the closet. You're shaking your head frantically, your breaths coming in heaving gasps. No! No, no, no! Your voice sounds as painful as it feels, but you can't keep the desperate plea inside. We need to go! Now! He turns towards the stairs again, and this time Oscar places himself between you and the stairs. Fear and rage flare up within you. You try to brush past him anyway. You're beyond waiting, beyond patience, beyond reason. You are prey, being run down by the predator, and Oscar was the idiot standing between the two of you. You need to run. He needs to run. Now! Can't you just fluffing trust me and wait 2 minutes?
No, you don't understand. We have to go.
If you run up there right now, the only thing that will happen is a reenactment of what we just saw, potentially with even more eye gouging. Wait! You let out a snarl of rage.
Just go. You go then. You can't stay here. You're going to die.
Your mind fills with images of Oscar, cleaved by shadows, his mouth opening in a silent scream. It fills you with a panic that crests into fury. You're so arrogant. You think you know everything, and you're going to get us killed. We're going to die. Just go. Go without me. Leave. Oscar sputters. It's strange to see him speechless. He rakes his fingers through his hair, looking around him with a crazed look in his eyes. His eyes land on yours, and his expression shifts from something wild to a fierce kind of determination. Oscar closes the gap between the two of you in a step that feels more like a lunge. He catches your face with one massive hand, his other pulling you in by the small of your back, and his mouth collides with yours.
Oh.
In a desperate, frantic kind of kiss, you find yourself kissing him back with equal intensity. Gripping a handful of his soft brown curls and crushing him to you, pressing yourself against him as if you could eliminate any and all space separating you. You're overwhelmed with pure need and heat. It's absolutely terrifying, but for a few moments, your mind is so much clearer, and you feel like you can inhale. You can smell the scent of his aftershave, faint traces of pine wood and smoke, and feel his teeth scraping against your bottom lip. It pulls you back from whatever void you'd been spiraling into and hurls you back into your body. He breaks the kiss, his chest heaving as he tries to catch his breath. Immediately, your cheeks flush with embarrassment.
Did you just kiss me to make me shut up? Or was it to make me listen to you? That's manipulative as fluff, you piece of shoot!
The hysterical-sounding laugh, so very unlike him, that erupts from him cuts you off. If I wanted to manipulate you, that is the last thing I would do. I knew you better than to resort to that. I know you well enough to know that I could never sway you, and certainly not in my favor. But that's it. You're it. That's just how it is, so no, I'm not leaving you. I can't leave you, so stop fluffing asking. He releases you abruptly, leaving you stunned and reeling from his admission, and returns to the sweatshirt he must have pulled from your closet. Come on, evil, horrific eldritch horror, let me enjoy this moment. Your gaze is pulled towards the hole in the wall. As you watch, you can see movement behind the sheets. Out of nowhere, maggots burst from the sheet. It tears open and they spill en masse, pouring over each other in gray wriggling clumps. Oscar! You can hear them hitting the floor, pouring from the hole in the wall, falling off the side of the bed. They clamber over each other, forming a shape against the wall. It's the outline of a tall, thin person, but you're entirely certain it isn't a person. Suddenly, Oscar is jamming a sweatshirt over your head, backwards. He yanks up the hood and you find that he's cut 2 eye holes, poorly mapped and askew into the hood. He takes a long piece of ribbon and ties it around your forehead, securing the hood tightly to your face. He takes your face in his hands, and it's hard to breathe through the hood with the cloth pressed against your mouth, but you don't want him to let go. We're going upstairs, and when we get up there, I'm going to tell you what to say. He has to yell over the sound of the maggots spilling endlessly from the wall. What, they probably just sound like a bunch of macaroni and cheese. Say exactly what I say. Think it too. Scream it in your mind and nothing else. You understand me? You nod once, just as the entire room shudders with the sound of something breaking away from the back wall. He doesn't wait to make sure you understand. You're both sprinting up the stairs. When you get upstairs, you freeze in the foyer. It stinks like rotting meat, like decay. A gray streak darts in your field of vision, and before you can register what's happening, Oscar has left your side, bending down and then returning almost immediately. Bartholomeo is tucked under his arm, looking stunned to have been seized in such a manner. The rumbling from downstairs is getting worse, making the entire foyer shudder.
You both charge for the door, and you feel the terror rising up to consume you once more. You hear a voice cut through the air, reverberating off each wall as if it came from everywhere at once. It didn't sound like a voice, or even human, despite you easily understanding the words. Ah!
Unmask, little scorpion. There is no need for this disguise. I know you. I know you.
Oscar is wrestling with the cat, who tried to bolt when the voice began. Can they hear it too?
Say you wear no mask.
Oscar yells as he gets Barty firmly by the scruff, frantically struggling off his jacket to wrap around the thrashing creature. I wear no mask. The house shudders again, but as you lunge towards the door, the ichor doesn't disappear. You shout it again and again. You both burst forward, sprinting onto the deck and to Oscar's car, where things are entirely peaceful, quiet, and calm. From the outside, there are no signs of what's going on within. Oscar swings open the car door and throws a very angry Bartholomeo into the car. He slams the door closed and then leans his back against the door, slumping against the vehicle. Standing in front of him, you can feel the fog pull back from your mind and more of yourself returning. Your memories become clear once more. The recollection of your parents' and sisters' trip no longer hazy in your mind. Your arrival home after they left, the time you've spent here since arriving, all has returned to how you'd once known it to be. Pretty!
Are we safe?
Oscar lifts his head up to look at you and grins. He's trying to hide his relief behind a smirk. He unties the ribbon and lowers your pseudo-mask. The fresh air is heaven in your lungs.
So, I bet you'd like to hear how I figured that out.
He's so darn smug.
I owe you big time after that, but then again you did steal a smooch. Care to bask in my brilliance? Grovel in thanks for my heroics?
No, I would not. You grin at him, and he gathers you up in his arms, pulling you tightly to him, his voice dropping to a growling purr.
Let's see what we can do to change that, shall we?
His mouth crashes against yours.
Wait a minute. Was that glitchy? Hold on. It was glitchy. The words are glitchy. So, whoever I choose gets awful romantic by the end of our escape. Could it be that the house has entered my friend, and then... You're safe now. Am I? Am I, Oscar?
He murmurs, burying his face into your neck, holding you to him.
Is that what you really wanted, little scorpion? Did you find what you seek? Somehow, I suspect not. Shenanigans! What are these shenanigans? What is happening here? I tried to start a new game, and the voice says, "Nice to see you again, Espoir." Why you gotta do that to me?
Aster's smile has a wicked edge, amusement twinkling in those golden eyes.
It's very nice to see you, Espoir. Wait a minute! You didn't say that last time!
You pause, then frown. When did you tell him your name? Aster seems to read the confusion on your face and chuckles at you.
Apologies. I've heard so much about you. I feel like I know you.
Aster let himself in without knocking or anything. That's...
weird. Really fluffin' weird. I'm very tired right now, but in the next video, we're gonna have a talk. We're gonna have a little talk with Mr. Aster here. We're gonna see what's really going going down. Why is the cat not real? We had the cat. We held the cat. Why is the cat not real, Aster? Is it you? Are you him? He's totally him. We're gonna get some gosh darn answers. Ask him to stay the night.